Good morning. It's Tuesday, December 2nd. Here's what we're working on. Niagara police releasing images of a suspect vehicle involved in a hit and run.
A music festival in downtown Burlington is supposed to return in some form.
Patriots in field goal range at the moment. Here's one downfield and caught for the touchdown. Kyle Williams.
And the Patriots have won their 10th consecutive game in dominating fashion. Good morning. One thing I did not want as an early Christmas gift, more snow.
More snow.
But here we are.
It was a very slow drive in this morning.
Yeah, it's already slow on the highways this morning. I think everybody's slowing down, taking it carefully, and that's starting to back things up a little bit on some roads. So, yeah, winter driving skills once again, because we've had that. It hasn't been heavy snow throughout the overnight, light dusting of snow, but enough to cause slippery conditions. And in some areas, there was still a fair bit of ice from the last snowfall that we had, so you get this dusting of snow on top of it. Particularly walking, be really careful. So yeah, we've still got some light snow flurry activity this morning. That's going to come to an end. We'll see a bit of clearing. We'll see some sunshine, but still lingering flurries. Today's high should hit 0, which is better than yesterday. We only got to -3. Today's 0. No real wind, but it's going to be cold tonight. We'll talk about how cold it's going to be coming up in a few minutes. By the way, we are sitting right now at -5 with a wind chill of -9. Looking at traffic, nothing here. That looks pretty good. That's the 403 in Waterdown Road. That's our exclusive camera, so nothing right there. Let's go to some MTO traffic cameras. Actually, the Red Hill Creek camera, Toronto bound away from us toward the Skyway, looks pretty good. But top of the Skyway, we're already seeing some slowdowns. As you can see, the brake lights coming on, heading down toward North Shore Boulevard. It's just some pockets of volume. It's busy here, but it's still moving okay. But yeah, give yourself a little extra time. It's going to be a little slow. Going to be a lot of spray coming off the tires ahead of you. So hopefully the windshield wipers and the windshield washer tank is all full and you're prepared for what's going on. We'll look at weather and traffic coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Thanks, Brian. Niagara police have released surveillance images of an SUV involved in a weekend hit and run. They're looking for this white Mercedes SUV, which was damaged in the collision and is missing parts of the passenger side mirror. The vehicle was captured on video going northbound on Bunting Road in St. Catharines at around 8:25 Saturday night. Moments later, a cyclist was hit by a white SUV on Dunkirk Road at Service Road in St. Catharines. The man was taken to hospital with serious injuries. There's no update yet on his condition.
Hamilton police are investigating a weekend hate rally in downtown Gore Park. This profanity-laced video was posted anonymously on the Facebook page Hamilton Neighborhood Watch. It shows a group of masked men at Gore Park on Saturday. One person at the rally called for mass deportation. Another appeared to throw a Nazi salute. All had their faces covered, some holding a sign with a hateful message. Now, since groups like this try to use media like us to spread their message, we have chosen to blur the sign.
They held up a banner that talked about, white men fight back, but we don't have anything else that was directly targeting any particular group. The information that we received is that there was a lot of yelling and shouting at people that were walking by. We know that some of the language that was used was offensive. Unfortunately, at this time, we don't have anything that meets the threshold of criminality.
Police say by the time their officers got to the rally, the group had already marched away. They're asking people to come forward if they have more information or video of that incident.
2 apartment towers in Toronto are still burning after catching fire last Thursday. There are no visible flames at the high-rise towers in Thorncliffe Park because fire officials say it's a slow burn inside. More than 400 people have not been allowed back in because of high carbon monoxide levels caused by the smoldering fire. It's burning through insulation trapped in the concrete walls between the towers.
This is the problem that we are talking about. And if you can imagine a cigar burning slowly up and up without visible flames, this is what my staff have been dealing with since Thursday afternoon at 1:30 with no way to access it. except very manual labor ways and very laborious ways.
A team of engineers is working to come up with ideas on how to put out the fire while the investigation into its origin and cause continues.
Well, it sounds like Burlington will have a music festival next year. It just isn't going to be the Sound of Music Festival that's been a Father's Day tradition for decades. It ran into financial trouble and the city cut ties with it. A report in the Bay Observer says the City of Burlington staff are recommending a 3-year contract be worked out with the events company MRG Live. The proposed concept will see a free 2-door outdoor music festival at Spencer Smith Park with other events in Burlington's downtown.
Algoma Steel in Sault Ste. Marie is laying off 1,000 workers. Layoffs will take effect on March 23rd. The company is blaming the impact of unprecedented tariffs imposed by the United States. The company says without access to the American marketplace, Algoma has been forced to conclude its long history as an integrated steel manufacturer. Algoma says it will close its blast furnace and coke-making operations in early 2026. The layoff represents roughly 1/3 of Algoma's workforce.
Polytechnique Montreal is expanding its scholarship program honoring the 14 women murdered at its engineering school in 1989. The Order of the White Rose Scholarship had previously been awarded to one female engineering student in Canada a year. Now, 14 scholarships of $50,000 each will be offered for female students to pursue an engineering master's or doctoral degree in Canada or elsewhere. White roses became a symbol commemorating the victims of the mass shooting 36 years ago. Those women were targeted because they were female engineering students.
Montreal MP Mark Miller has been sworn in as the new Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture. He moves into the post after Stephen Guilbeault resigned from Cabinet last week.
I, Mark Miller, do solemnly and sincerely promise and swear that I will truly and faithfully, to the best of my skill and knowledge, execute the powers and the trust reposed to me as Minister of Canadian Identity and Culture and Minister responsible for official languages.
Miller served in former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's cabinet between 2019 and 2025, but wasn't included in Carney's cabinet until now. In addition to culture and identity, Miller was also named the Minister for Official Languages. Guilbeault will remain a Liberal MP, but submitted his resignation from cabinet following the signing of Ottawa's new energy pact with Alberta that paves the way for a new oil pipeline to BC's coast.
Pope Leo has met with some of the survivors of a deadly port explosion in Beirut and with relatives of the victims. The double explosion in August of 2020 killed over 200 people, injured another 7,000, and left 300,000 people homeless. The Pope was welcomed and paused briefly for a moment of silent prayer before the monument that commemorates victims of that blast. Ammonium nitrate, confiscated in 2014 from an abandoned ship, caused 2 explosions on that day. The second was considered among the most powerful non-nuclear explosions in history. A teenager in Australia is challenging the country's new ban on social media. He wants the Australian government to overturn the ban on social media for anyone under the age of 16. The law is the first of its kind and goes into effect next week. 15-year-old Noah Jones says the ban won't stop predators and will isolate teens, pushing them into riskier behavior. He likens social media to a modern-day town square, saying it's essential for staying connected and sharing ideas. Heads up if you collect loyalty points. Premier Doug Ford is being accused of preparing to attack them, those collecting those points. The province has introduced legislation to alter laws tied to loyalty reward points. The Ontario Liberal Party claims the Ford government proposal is aimed at removing protections that prevent the points from expiring, among a few other regulations.
The Premier is sneaking through a piece of legislation that will allow everyday Ontarians reward points to expire, favoring big corporations over everyday Ontarians.
The points are not going to disappear, and if not redeemed, they are prohibited by the Consumer Protection Act. It prohibits the expiry of rewards points due to the passage of time alone. CHCH News asked the Premier's office yesterday if they would let the points expire. They did not answer that question. All right. To Sportsline we go, and the New England Patriots have become the first NFL team to reach 11 wins this season.
Patriots in field goal range at the moment. Here's one downfield.
Drake May passed for 2 touchdowns as the Pats unloaded on the Giants 33-15 for their 10th straight win, improving to a league-best 11-2. It's their longest streak since winning 10 consecutive games in 2015 when Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were leading the charge in New England. Pats head coach Mike Vrabel also became the 3rd coach since 1970 to have a win streak of 10 or more games in his first season with a team. The 2-11 Giants have lost 7 consecutive games, including 3 in a row since firing head coach Brian Daboll. Josh Norris returned to the Sabres lineup last night for the first time since getting hurt in the team's season-opening game, and he came to play. Norris scored 2 goals and added an assist in Buffalo's 5-1 win over Winnipeg. Kyle Connor scored the only goal for the Jets, who suffered their 5th loss in 6 games. Well, 2 NHL teams who are not living up to expectations will square off tonight when the Maple Leafs visit the Panthers. Toronto and Florida are tied for last place in the Atlantic Division, but Panthers forward Brad Marchand says it's way too early to count either team out.
In Toronto, when you sit out of the playoff spot at this point, the world is ending. But here, I get the impression you guys are just kind of par for the course and you have confidence in this.
I mean, what are we, 25 games in? If you think that your playoff dreams are done, 25 games in, you got bigger problems. You know, I know they don't think that in the room. You know, it's just obviously with the media attention and the fan support that they have in Toronto, you know, things get blown way out of proportion up there. But yeah, they definitely don't think that in the room. What are they, 4 points out of the playoff spot? Or if people are thinking they're out of playoff spot for the season, they got to find a new job.
Meantime, Leafs defenseman Brandon Carlo has suffered a setback in his recovery from a lower body injury and is back in Toronto to see a specialist. Carlo hasn't played since November 13th when he shared knuckle sandwiches with Burlington's Jeff Malott of the Kings, but didn't play the rest of that game. According to TSN's Dave Naylor, the Argos will announce Mike Miller as their new head coach. The 55-year-old has been Toronto's quarterbacks coach since 2022 and will replace Ryan Dinwiddie, who left to be the head coach and GM in Ottawa. Miller takes over an Argos team that went 5-13 this past season. Free agent receiver Devin Williams has reportedly agreed to a 3-year contract worth $51 million with the New York Mets. Williams spent last season across town with the Yankees, where he went 4-6 with a career-worst ERA of .479 and 18 saves in 22 chances. He lost the closer's job, regained it, and then lost it again before finishing the year with 4 scoreless outings during the playoffs. The 31-year-old right-hander is a 2-time All-Star who twice won the NL Reliever of the Year award with Milwaukee. Kitchener's Jamal Murray sprained his right ankle in the 3rd quarter of Denver's 131-121 loss to Dallas last night. The 28-year-old sat out the 4th quarter and will be checked out today. And the Canadian men's basketball team beat the Bahamas 94-88 in 2027 FIBA World Cup qualifying action in Toronto.
Okay, here we go. Second morning of December, and we've got busy roads already because of the snow flurries that we've had throughout the overnight, causing, as you can see, it's already slow coming out of Hamilton on the 403. That's our exclusive camera. I mean, it's moving, it's rolling, but everybody's taking a lot of care and caution here this morning, which is what you have to do. We have no collisions on the books. Let's go to some MTO traffic cameras. QEW Welland, it's really light volume, so no problems right there. Flip up to the Red Hill Creek, still moving okay. It's going over the Skyway Bridge and coming down to North Shore Boulevard. We are seeing some slowdowns through here, but look how wet the roads look. The shine on the highways. We've got a vehicle off to the side at the Ford plant, not really impeding any traffic flow there up against the wall, as you can see. And it's pretty slow already here through Cawthra, going through Mississauga at the moment. Okay, let's get to some of the temperatures. Well, the temperature that we have at the moment right now, temperature has come up to -4. The winds, thankfully, are pretty light. North at 6, still makes it feel like -7. We do have that flurry activity at the moment. So for school today, we're going to climb to a 0-degree high for the day today. We are going to get some flurries. Well, so light snow this morning. That'll taper off. We'll start to see some clearing to a mix of sun and clouds, and then we'll get that flurry temperature around, as I said, the freezing mark. Here's a look at the precipitation over the past 6 hours. This is a loop, keeps repeating. Of course, the blue is the snow flurry activity that we've had across Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. It's a low pressure system just to the south of it, so it's going to go by pretty quickly. So behind it, we're going to start to see that clearing trend a little bit, and then we're going to get a little bit more light snow flurry activity overnight into tomorrow. So just some flurries. But today's temperatures, 0 to +1. There's that bit of sunshine for the afternoon, but flurries, of course. Tonight, temperature is going to be cold. -6 for Niagara, -9 for Hamilton with a wind chill of -12, -8, -10 in other areas. And then tomorrow, what we're looking at is some sun to start, and then we're going to get some clouds and flurries. Simcoe, Cayuga could get that couple of centimeters for the day tomorrow. The rest of us, it's just going to be some flurries. So out the door, second morning of December. We are looking at light snow, light winds, temperature right now -4. Long range, of course, coming up for you. Annette, Rick.
All right, thank you, Brian. Coming up after the break, two well-known Canadian business families are pitching in to purchase the Hudson's Bay Company charter. More details after the break. To business news we go, and we'll start with overseas trading. The Canadian dollar is down 3 points to 71.40 cents U.S. Gold down $44 an ounce. Oil also down 7 cents to $59.28 U.S. a barrel. In midday trading in Europe, the markets are all up this hour, with Frankfurt leading the way, ahead by 138 points.
Mixed day on Asian markets. Tokyo posted modest gains, with Hong Kong finishing a bit stronger than Shanghai, which saw a slight loss. A rough day on North American markets. The TSX dropped 281 points. The Dow was down more than 400, and the Nasdaq down almost 90. Well, no competing bids have emerged for Hudson's Bay's 1670 Royal Charter. That clears the way for both the Thompson and Weston families to buy it for $18 million. Those families were the only parties to signal interest before the deadline, making their joint offer the likely winning bid, pending court approval. It goes up for auction on Wednesday. They plan to donate the charter to 4 Canadian institutions and provide $5 million for conservation and public access.
Compared to recent years, the number of housing starts in the GTHA dropped markedly in the first 9 months of this year. Those are the findings of the Residential Construction Council of Ontario. It says housing starts were down by more than 1/3 in the 34 municipalities of the region over the first 3 quarters. That's compared with the January to September period of 2021 to 2024.
Small business owners are watching to see just how willing we are to spend this holiday. Several studies show many Canadians plan to support homegrown companies when picking up gifts, but business owners say shoppers aren't following through on that just yet. The Business Development Bank of Canada predicted almost 60% of the average $943 Canadians will spend on their holiday shopping would be dedicated to domestic products and services this year. Hey, it's still early.
Retail giant Costco is suing the U.S. government to ensure it gets a full refund on import duties lost through President Trump's tariffs. In a lawsuit filed over the Thanksgiving holiday, Costco says its business had suffered because of the tariffs and is concerned it wouldn't get its money back even if the Apex Court upheld previous rulings. Now, Costco's lawsuit urges the federal trade court to declare Trump's emergency tariffs illegal, an authority the president says he has under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. 2 lower courts have already ruled that Trump exceeded his authority by using emergency powers to impose tariffs.
Okay, coming up on 6:21 right now, we're taking a quick break. Brian's going to be back with traffic in your 7-day forecast.
Okay, 6:24. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of December. Look at the shine on the highway here. QEW at Mountain between St. Catharines and Niagara Falls. Now, that could be just wet, or could be lurking under that shine some ice. Be really careful this morning. We've got wet roads and we've got slow conditions across the Burlington Skyway. This is really backed up in the past few minutes. Nothing at Bronte. Looks good there. Sheraton through Mississauga, dipping into the 403 at Dundas Street. It is slow, as you can see there. Toronto bound coming up from the Ford plant towards us. Lots of spray coming off on the tires. Be really careful this morning. All right, let's get to the temperatures that we have at the moment. Hamilton sitting at -4, bit of a wind chill of -7 at the moment. -2 Grimsby, Mississauga, -1 into Toronto. Let's talk about seasonals. We usually try to do that, so it gives you an idea of where we should be. 3 for the daytime high is seasonal, -4 for the overnight low. So we're on the chilly side here this morning, which is seasonal, -4. Those are our sun times and records for today. We will see some sunshine, but it'll be later on today. We'll get that light snow this morning. Should be -2 for the first bell at 9, and then 0 for later on today. Some sun, but yeah, that's some flurries mixed in as well. So long range forecast, 0 today, -9 tonight, wind chill -12. It's going to be cold to start the day tomorrow. 0 again tomorrow with some flurries, and then -3 as we get into Thursday, -2, some sun, some flurries on Thursday. The weekend looks fairly cloudy, 0 Saturday, -3 only for Sunday into Monday. That's your forecast. Net, Rick.
Okay, thanks so much. Do you have an advent calendar at home?
I do not.
You don't?
No.
Okay. We used to.
I should get on that.
Yeah, we used to. Okay, we're already 2 chocolates in. Well, penguins at the London Zoo, though, have started counting down the days till Christmas.
Yeah, these Humboldt penguins were seen checking out an advent calendar filled with their favorite treat, small fish instead of chocolate. The calendar is part of the zoo's Magic at Christmas festivities. Now, Humboldt penguins are notoriously clumsy on land. In the water, though, they're much more graceful, swimming at speeds close to 50 kilometers an hour. Originally from Chile and Peru, Humboldt penguins are facing dwindling numbers in the wild. These furry friends are currently considered a threatened species.
Notice how their advent calendar doesn't have numbers on it. It's got symbols on it. I wonder if it's a training thing that they're doing.
That could be.
Yeah,
that's
I
very
don't
interesting.
want an advent calendar with fish, though.
Can you imagine different fish? Cod, salmon,
by the
tuna.
24th, it's like,
Yeah, fed by Phil. Stay with us. More to come after the break here on Morning Live.